But I was looking at the power ratings by Steve Makinen. He has great numbers on every sport. It's why you got to become a subscriber. And if you don't make NFL power ratings, his numbers are updated like on a weekly basis. And he started the year off by providing all of his numbers in the guide, so you can use that as a base to get you started on the year. Now, a couple of takeaways from his power ratings. I think that we can all agree that the best two teams in football are the Chiefs and the Eagles, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
They go 1-2. He has the Chiefs. Now, this would be on a neutral field. He has the Chiefs a half a point better than Philadelphia. I would say that that's accurate. Then is where it gets interesting. He has Buffalo a 1.5 back of KC on a neutral. Remember, Buffalo was favored in KC last year. And he also has Buffalo with the same power rating as Cincinnati. So I would ask you, Paulie, the question, if those two teams played on a neutral field and it was a pick 'em.
Yeah, Bengals, heavy.
Me too.
Yep.
That would be one of my bigger bets of the year, I think, based on circumstances, obviously. So I would have Cincinnati ahead of Buffalo. He has San Francisco a half a point behind Buffalo and Cincinnati.
This is where it gets tricky.
Yep.
Because it's an embarrassment of riches. They have a great coach and so much talent, but who's playing quarterback? Your comeback might be it doesn't matter. Look what Mr. Irrelevant did. But, to me, I'm fine and I love the 49ers if it's Purdy. I don't care what they're saying in these rave reviews. I have to give pause if it's going to be Lance. And then if it's Darnold, yeah, okay. But still, the 49ers have to be in that mix and maybe third as well.
Yep.
Certainly, because they can talk all they want. They can say it because they can't prove it, but maybe they do win that game in the NFC title game if Purdy's healthy. But
sure.
But who knows? But certainly they were awesome and playing great football before the injury.
And I'll give you another one too. So I think if Buffalo and San Francisco played on a neutral and Buffalo was favored, I would be betting San Francisco in that game. Again, depending on overall health and everything like this. But this is where I was a little bit surprised. Yes, I am, like many, I'm high on Jacksonville this year, but I also want to tread a little bit lightly with this team.
Yeah.
In Steve Makinen's power ratings, he has a value of 27, which is 1 point behind Dallas, 1.5 behind San Francisco. And I'll bring up the Niners again. Like if the Niners played Jacksonville on a neutral and the Niners were 1.5 point favorites, I would go crazy with the 49ers.
I say Jacksonville's too high, Chargers too low at 12. I know they lost the game, but they led 27-0 on the road in the playoff abomination. That's very aggressive for Jacksonville, though I like them, and I think they should win that division. I think Baltimore's better. I think Miami's better.
That's exactly what I was going to say, Paul. Yeah. I cannot have a value right now higher on Jacksonville than on the Jets, the Dolphins, or the Ravens. I have all three of those teams better than Jacksonville.
Yeah.
And like you said, the Chargers are equal to Detroit.
Yeah, I'm
not so sure about that.
Yeah. He also is high on Denver. He has Denver 14. And he doesn't look where he has Tennessee, 27th.
Yeah.
Now, it was before the Hopkins news, but still.
Oh, he has them.
He has them in the Indy-Washington range.
Oh, he has them tied with the Rams.
Yeah.
Whew. And
he thinks Tennessee's one of the worst teams in football.
Yeah. So he has, on a power rating scale here, he has Jacksonville 5.5 points better than Tennessee in their own division. Another one that I found intriguing, because I would be higher on Seattle than Steve.
Yep.
He has Seattle equal to the following teams. Cleveland, yeah, maybe. I think Cleveland actually might be a little bit better. But he has Seattle equal to Denver, Minnesota, the Giants, and Pittsburgh. Now, I have Seattle ahead of the Giants and ahead of Pittsburgh this year, even if it's by a small margin. And they're a half a point ahead of New England and New Orleans and 1 point ahead of Green Bay. And I was reading, so I like to read as much as possible on like unit rankings before the year starts. And I was looking at like Warren Sharp. I was looking at Pro Football Focus. They are really, really down on the Seahawks offensive line this year. And then Evan Silva, who is really good like in the fantasy world and NFL in general, he retweeted somebody who he called the best offensive line evaluator, basically, that he knows. And this guy ranked Seattle with a top 10 offensive line. And Evan Silva called him the best guy he knows that evaluates offensive line. So I'm like, okay, Now you got my attention. And his breakdown was really, really good. And if the Seahawks offensive line, if like Pro Football Focus and Warren Sharp and others are way off of that O-line, and this guy's spot on, well, then, I mean, I have them over 8.5 minus 140, and I was intrigued by going out over 10 as well. Brent Musburger picked them to go to the Super Bowl in the VSiN betting guide. They could be better than we're all anticipating.
Well, congratulations, but I have to see it again on a Geno. And he might do
that's
it.
Your big boy.
You know, taking the kid out of Ohio State in the draft as well. I mean, there's weapons there, you know. And no one saw that coming last year. It was a great job to make the playoffs. And I thought to be one of the worst teams in football. Mm-hmm. But Geno's got to do it again and see how he plays now that he got paid as well. So great story, but that'll be a fun team to watch as well. But not much respect from Makinen. Same thing with the Saints. You know, I'm not a Carr guy, but the crap they've been putting out there at quarterback the last couple of years, and now it's Carr. He's got him in the 20s. He's got him in the New England, Green Bay, Chicago range.
Yep.
And Las Vegas, which I just think it's going to be a long year for the Raiders. We've been over that and said that time and time again.
Boy, that's another one, huh? You're exactly right. That's a good observation.
I still think the Saints win that division.
If the Saints played Vegas on a neutral, he would have the Saints -1.
Yeah.
Plus, revenge game for Derek Carr.
Yeah.
But the Saints, to me, sitting there, 1 point better than Atlanta. They're a half a point better than Green Bay per his numbers. And he has Green Bay a half a point better than Chicago. But again, the closer we get to the season, the more I'm seeing people make a case for Chicago to be good. Like, really good.
Well, what's that?
To maybe win that division.
Okay.
I can't bet it. I can't do it. They were the worst team. I get it. They've made some really nice additions in the offseason. They had 3 wins last year.
Well, yes. I also, it's been said by many, and you said it the other day, I think there is value on the Vikings. Because everyone is like, what a fluke. They were awful. What happened in the playoff loss? They can't be worse defensively. They can't be.
No.
And plus, coming out saying we want to try and win games 35-30 this year. And Flores is going to take chances, too.
Yeah.
They were so vanilla conservative with that crap scheme they played with Donatel. They won all those games. I said, no, it was lucky. But they were 31st in defense.
It's been all anti-Minnesota.
Yeah. All right. Well, same thing, right? Great story. Love what Campbell did. Okay. Now there's expectations. Are the Lions really going to win 11 games? 10 games?
Seems a little unlikely. Huh?
I know.
Visit VSiN.com to get current odds, listen for free, find showtimes, and download VSiN sports betting podcasts.